Good evening. Welcome to the meeting of the Plymouth Community School Board for June 3rd, 2014. You'll join us in the pledge, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our first item is to set the agenda. I have no additions or corrections, so I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda.
So.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, item 1.3, anyone in the audience that would like to discuss any agenda items this evening? You can state your name and which item, and we'll have another chance near the end of the meeting, but thank you for being here. Section 2 is the consent agenda. It looks to include our typical items on the consent agenda, plus some overnight trips that are being presented for our consideration. Are there any items that a board member would like to pull out separately? If not, we'll get it on the table. Entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented. Second.
Have a motion to second. And I believe, do we have some comments?
Yes, we have several people to
Yeah.
introduce some of our.
I don't know who wants to go first, but we've got some introductions perhaps.
Gary, would you like to go first since you're in the front row?
Since you called on me, I'd love to. With me, I have Kaylee Thompson, who we are hiring as a second grade teacher at Webster, and we are really, I have some of my other second grade teachers here with us. We're really pleased to have her. She did 2 leaves for us, one starting in December and the other one in April. So we got to try her out for about a half a year, and we're just really excited to have her at Webster.
Well, good. Welcome.
Welcome.
Looks like she needs more energy.
Amy, I believe you have some.
I do. I'm happy to introduce to you Katie Richards. Katie's going to be our moderate special education teacher at Menominee. And also, Mrs. Krista Snyder is rejoining our Plymouth family as a 4th grade teacher at Menominee. So we're excited to have both of these ladies with us. Cole, Katie's husband, came along. He's a social studies teacher at Warsaw. So I know that he was actively recruited by Warsaw, and we're just really excited to have Cole and Katie in our family. So thanks.
We do have a social studies job open here.
Jim Condon behind you is one you want to.
I have a card.
Mr. Condon, do you have somebody?
I do. I'd like to introduce Clint Watts. Clint is going to be joining us as a split position between the junior high and the high school in agriculture. And he'll be helping with our FFA program as well.
Very good. I think that's about it.
Okay. Well, welcome to each of you. And good luck in your endeavors. Any other items that board members have comments on?
I would comment on Rick Scott, Director of Transportation, who's retiring, and Fran Davison, bus driver, and Dave Cox, high school science teacher. I want to wish them all the best and thank them for all the years of their dedication and contributions to Plymouth schools.
Great. Kind of the circle of life, new and then any other comments? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second to accept the consent agenda. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, we'll get into business transactions. Our first item this evening, 3.1, is consideration for the Menominee Elementary principal.
Yes, there were 40 applications for the Menominee principal position. We did, after screening, we did interview 12 candidates and then brought back 6, kind of a semifinal, and finally we took 3 candidates to a final interview with 3 different committees, a parent committee, an administrative committee, and a teacher committee. And all 3 committees came to the same final selection, and that is Stephen Boyer. So I would like to recommend that Stephen Boyer be given a 2-year contract as
heard the recommendation, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Have motion and second. Mr. Boyer as principal nominee. Discussion.
I just thank the committees and their recommendation, and Steve will do a great job.
He will.
Congratulations, Steve. Thank you.
Other comments? But I've had the experience both as Mr. Boyer teaching some of my daughters and also worked at Riverside, so I'm excited about watching your career grow, and this is a great move for not only you, for us as a corporation. So congratulations and continued success. We have a motion and a second. Any other comments? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Before we move on, I know we had a transition this year, but thank you for all of you do and have done and will continue to do, so much appreciated, much appreciated. Item 3.2, consider reorganization of transportation and maintenance departments.
Yes, Mr. Rick Scott is retiring. Also, I have been given information that Mr. Bruce Gerhardt will be retiring September 30th, 31st, whatever, the last day of September. It gives us an opportunity to do some reorganization, and we want to do that in order to better supervise the what's happening from the directors to the actual men and women completing those jobs. And so the old positions, we had a director of facilities, a maintenance service center person, the director of transportation, and a transportation secretary. The proposed reorganization would actually end up with 5 positions: the director of operations, who would be over both transportation and maintenance, an assistant director of maintenance, an assistant director of transportation, receptionist at the service center, and a trainer for the bus drivers, because we're moving to air brakes, and we also need to continue having surplus bus drivers so we don't run into shortages. Now, that's 5 positions where there were 4, but it actually is about $8,000 cheaper to go this way. We believe that we have people who are in positions now that we can transfer to these positions and hit the ground running right away, so we can be ready for next year. I know one of our goals is, because we've seen other school districts do it, one of our goals is to be able to transport K through 4 students on one set of buses, and maybe 5 through 12 students on another set of buses. And Wallace C just implemented that. They've got a lot more geography than we do. And I just think with the technologies that's out there, if we get the right person in that director of operations position, we'll be able to use that technology to allow us to do things like that. So I would recommend that we'll be allowed to reorganize those positions in this fashion.
For the recommendation, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion. The trainer for bus drivers, is that full-time?
No, it'd be a part-time, 4 hours a day.
Okay.
And we do have a bus driver who is current bus driver who has been a trainer before for a load fleet. And
So that won't take that person out of driving the bus?
No, correct.
Can't.
No. Be able to drive the bus and then spend about 4 hours doing training.
Any other questions? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second to accept the reorganization. I'm sorry, I do have another question. So at this point, the motion is approving a structure here, and you're gonna come back with recommendations on folks, and there's gonna be a process for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of the positions are gonna be people that are within it, the job that we're gonna be able to transfer over.
I understand, but we're not doing any of that now.
No, we're not.
All right, I'm done. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item 3.3, consider revised classified conditions of employment.
Yeah, we usually only do this in January, but a couple of things that are in here, kind of let this one slip by us. We had in our contract that to receive insurance benefits, you only had to work 20 hours a week. That's not really the natural cutoff now. It's 30 hours a week, and so we would want to grandfather the people in. We're not trying to take away insurance from people who've had it, but we're looking at the future as far as hires and kind of staying with the Affordable Health Care Act and giving insurance to those people who would qualify or who wouldn't qualify for the Affordable Health Care Act, and make it consistent with that. That's probably the first thing, the biggest thing in here. As we move through, we did hiring a marketing position. Now, this position is part certified and part classified. However, there is a rule on the retirement that you can't give someone both perf and turf. So we had to decide where we were going to put the person. And that decision, since the person's going to be working a majority of the time in a classified position, is that we would put it there. And so that is that position. We talked about that. And let's see. What's the next one? These are all. You want to explain the compensatory, or the retire,
Yes, the overtime,
the compensatory time change?
as you voted on a few years back when we had all the budget cuts and everything, and which no one's allowed to have overtime unless it's approved prior. And because we are a government entity, we can put that towards comp time rather than paid out time and a half. So when we put it to comp time, it goes comp time and a half. And when someone leaves the employment with us and has remaining comp time, that's converted back to the overtime and paid like overtime normally would have been paid, because we do have to pay them out. It's probably worded better in that statement, but it's explained so that all of us, especially in this office, are all on the same page, and so that people are aware of how it will show up on their paycheck. That was the main concern I had. I wanted it to be, it had to show up as time and a half on their paycheck if we were to pay them out for it when they leave our employment.
Okay, any questions of Candy?
Now, this, they can only accumulate comp time if it's prior approved, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Anything else? All right, the next one is in the adult education facilitator. This is a position we've actually hired over the years. It's basically an adult education teacher. We just found that it was never in our classified condition. So in order to make us legal, put it in there. You know, I blame the former superintendent on that. Just kidding. Okay. The next one is the Assistant Director of Communications at WSOI, and we approved that at a former meeting, and we've already hired that position, and we wanted to make sure we got it in the classified conditions. The next one is the Security Systems Monitor and the Safety Monitor. The Security Systems Monitor is the position that we hired that caused the changeover from Gary to Jenny. And so we wanted to make sure we got that in the conditions of employment for classified. And then the Safety Monitor, basically what we're doing is we're taking the hall monitors that we've always had and we're putting them under the direction of security rather than under the direction of the principals. And so change the title of that, and then we will interview. So people who've been filling those positions may or may not get a job as in the security department because we may be looking for different things. I think there was a rumor that we weren't going to have hall monitors anymore. That came from WTCA, and that is not the truth. Let's see. Got the compensatory time throughout. And then we made the banquet supervisor and the banquet cooks and servers. We had a range there, but that really didn't work very well because it's been the same person for doing those jobs for a long time, and there was really no sense of having a range. That's a specific job that they already have a job with us as a cook, which has a range there. So this is an extra job, and we just felt like instead of having a range, should be a dollar amount. And then putting the jobs that we have into the index there, and that was it. Those are all the changes. Questions?
Any questions for Dan or on any of the proposed changes? And the purpose that we're doing this now is primarily because of the insurance and the hires that are being contemplated at this point. And while we're doing that, some of the other quote-unquote cleanups are being removed.
Absolutely.
So it's not affecting, or did I hear anything that affected our budget? No, these are things that we've either approved or just got overlooked, or will be something that impacts our next year.
That's correct.
We've heard the recommendation. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and second to approve the revised classified conditions of employment. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Item 3.4, consider Blueberry Festival agreement. I agree we should have a Blueberry Festival. Where am I going to get my fish sandwich?
Each year, the Blueberry Festival comes to us and asks permission to use the facilities that belong to the school, and this is completely in line with what they've asked us for in the past. And as you know, our clubs, especially at the high school, but some at the other schools, make a lot of money off of this, and so it's been a really good situation for Plymouth Community Schools. I would recommend we pass this.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and second to approve the agreement with Blueberry Festival. Any discussion or questions?
It's hard work, it's a long weekend, but it is worth it. It is a lot of fun, I have to say, having done it myself several times.
A lot of fun.
It is fun,
Depends on how hard it is.
that's true.
It is a great fundraiser for sure. Have a motion and second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item 3.5, consider resolution 2014-5 for Plymouth Community School Corporation's support of the tennis courts.
Yes, the committee of community members who are advocating new tennis courts came to this board and made a specific requisition about a year and a half ago now. We were able to put together that money and have it in an account where we can save it. We didn't want to. First of all, you can't just give it to the city because one taxing unit can't support another taxing unit. But they are in the midst of their fundraising right now, and a lot of people are asking, is the school financially supporting this? And they want to be able to tell them that yes, the school is financially supporting the new tennis courts, because that seems to be a deal breaker for some people if we're not. What we've done is we've asked Jeff to very skillfully put together a resolution that basically says once they're ready to go into construction and need the money, that we will amend our lease agreement with the park and be able to make that kind of financial contribution to help the building of the new tennis courts. The amount is $250,000. This in no way binds us to do this, so if they were to fall on their faces and not collect the money and not have a building project, the money would still be ours. We wouldn't have to give that to them. It's only if they're successful in the midst of building courts that we can do this.
You've heard the recommendation. We have resolution 2014-5 to consider. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Discussion.
We've discussed this for, a couple of years, and heard the presentation, and I think we at that time indicated that we would make a commitment based on the fact that our kids utilize those courts for PE classes and also our tennis meets and so forth. So I feel it's money well spent, and that our kids and community will get the benefits from it.
Any other comments? Or? And I appreciate the way this is worded. I did have some concerns about, and I think it's inherent in the way that we've crafted this, but I have a question, I guess. Do we know anything about the timing of all this? I mean, you're probably going to say it depends on the money. Well, do they have a sense of timing?
Yes, they do. They believe now that they can break ground this fall. I believe that would be after Blueberry Festival, and it's going to be a 2-year process, so 2 calendar year process. So, for instance, they would do some of the work this fall, and then they would finish up the rest of the work next spring. And so they have commitment of $750,000 from the city. They raised about $100,000 this last weekend. They have some other commitments from individuals and the people who have played tennis, and the parents of people who have played tennis have come out and are starting to write checks now and make commitments to this. And then there are some people in town who were waiting to see if the tennis community was going to support this, and if they see that the tennis community is going to support this, then they too will support this financially. So we are starting to see some positive movement on contributions there.
So given that, in the resolution, it talks about dependent on execution of an amendment to the current lease. So when or how or when will that amendment be considered?
Those are some of the details that'll need to be worked out. I've talked to Sean Cerisi a couple of times, and the city is agreeable to basically the idea of working it into the lease. Because it's kind of a unique situation where the city owns the facilities and the school corporation leases them, the way to transfer the money would be through that lease, and we just need to work out language that both the park department and you as a school board agree to as far as timing of actually paying the money and what commitments need to be shown before you will pay the money.
And will that document or that process discuss what if, and I hate to use this example, but we had a soccer field that we participated in, and there were some issues after construction. And I guess, will that be the area that we would have, I just don't want to we're not going to be the owner, obviously, so I just don't want to get into a situation, well, you paid X percent of the project and now you're liable for X percent of some type of remedy once it's...
No, as the lessee, the school corporation shouldn't be liable, and I certainly would advise the school corporation to accept any liability for the construction or any defects in the construction.
I know we're not a party to any of the contracts or anything like that, but...
The way the lease is worded right now is that it's fairly loose in the language. The city agrees to allow the school corporation to use the facilities that it has, and we understand what those facilities are and what they're utilized for. I think the city is making a commitment to have tennis courts available, so under that lease agreement, the school corporation would still be able to use the city tennis facilities. Other than that, any details of what those facilities are, where they are, how they're constructed, those agreements, that's all up to the city.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Are there any other questions or discussion? Here or not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. 3.6, consider textbook fees for grades 5 through 12.
And before I introduce Jenny to talk about the Riverside fees, I'll let you, Mr. Condon is actually on his way to the hospital. His next grandson is being delivered. So
Yes. That's awesome. He says all text, and he kept going like this.
Yeah, textbook fees mainly stay the same, but I'll let Jenny go ahead and talk about Riverside's.
We're kind of status quo for next year, so we did not adopt a language arts book like the rest of them did, so we are reducing our fees.
Any questions for Jenny? Kind of hard to have questions. Thank you.
Mr. Gall and Mr. Hopple are at an awards program at Lincoln tonight, so I'll talk about the Lincolns. The only changes to Lincoln, the language arts fee actually drops about $6 a student. And then they've added a fee for their Project Lead the Way medical detectives class they're going to teach. And then agriculture that they'll be teaching. So other than that, Lincoln's stay the same. So, okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You have the document that outlines updates for Plymouth High School. I'll just speak generally about what we have. 5 departments are at the same cost, no changes, status quo. 4 departments are at a lower cost the next school year. That's excluding the 2 that we adopted. We did adopt textbooks for English, and the majority of those courses are at a lower cost than what we had last adoption cycle. And then for world languages, Spanish was the only department in that broad department to adopt. We had gotten Chinese books 2 years ago, and the majority of those courses too are at a lower cost than what we adopted last time. We did broaden our art program. So we do have some fees that are different. However, I think there's going to be a lot of added benefit for our students in the fact that we're going to have consumable kits. It's the first time that we have done that. I want to compliment Haley Church and Faith Calling, the department there. They put in a lot of work to think about what they really wanted to have. And so the value is students will get a kit and they get to take everything that they're paying for. So it's a great benefit to students.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions?
May I make a comment? I know that Kyle worked very hard on going to every teacher and finding out exactly what fees were for and just getting right down to the bones of everything. He did a great job, and I'd like to commend him. It was a good job.
Thank you.
Appreciate you bringing that up. Thank you.
Just to piggyback off that, if you do see that list, there will be, to some degree, some itemization. So I think the value for our taxpayers is when they see that fee, they'll at least have some idea of what it's going for. I think it's very important. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yep.
Well, we've heard the explanation for Riverside, Lincoln, and PHS. We have a motion. Entertain a motion then to approve the textbook fees as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions? Discussion. Appreciate your efforts. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. 3.7, consider preschool proposal.
Well, that is mine. I come to you tonight to consider approval. If federal funds are available, and I make sure I enunciate that, if federal funds are available this summer, to incorporate 1 or 2 preschool classrooms that will be housed at Jefferson, in addition to our 2 special ed preschool classrooms. These classrooms will be funded through Title III and Title I, again, if funds are available to do so. Our corporation was not considered this year for a preschool pilot program that was recently approved by the state, and Glenda Ritz, who is endorsing preschool and early childhood education and improving those throughout the state. But we at Plymouth feel strongly that in order to help the children gain confidence, social and academic skills, to be able to perform well at the kindergarten level and throughout the school years, that we would like to incorporate 2 preschool programs. You might be wondering what Title III, what type of classroom that would house, what type of students, and those would be our EL learners, to give them a better foundation and to help get those vocabulary and language skills built so that they can function in the kindergarten classroom. And that's why Norma is here, and she believes strongly that we will be able to house probably more than 1, but I told her we are going to need to start with 1 right now. That she has many of her families asking, do we have preschool programs available in our schools? They are unable to pay tuition out there in our preschool programs out in the community, and plus there are a limited number. Not all of the kids that need preschool are able to go to preschool because we have limited preschools. On page 7 and 8, you're probably wondering, can we actually fund this? And I build it out for you. On page 7, it'll show 2 classrooms. If I'm able to fund 2 classrooms through those grants, what it would look like and where the money would come from. And then on the last page, it shows actually the 1 classroom. And with the one classroom I'm proposing is that half of the day will be spent with Title I students, which by the end of June, I'm hoping to become school-wide, so that would be any student within our corporation, and half a day would be Title III. If ideally I can get 2 classrooms, one classroom will house any kid that is screened and is performing low academically already prior to kindergarten, getting those kids in, our most at-risk kids in, to our Title I classroom. Our Title III classroom will house our neediest ELO students that are out there, and preferably those getting ready to enter kindergarten. So I would be looking more at the 4-year-old level to start with before I dip down into 3-year-olds. Okay. Everything is outlined, what my goals are for it. You may be wondering, why would I house it at Jefferson? One is, when I took over the preschool program at Washington, and I don't remember how many years ago that was what the request was of the 2 preschool classrooms that were in our corporation. At that time, they were housed at different buildings, and they said, really, we like to collaborate. And if I'm putting 2 new people into a preschool program, I don't want them housed in a different building they have no one to collaborate with, so that they can really draw on the strengths of Angela and Candace, who have been doing preschool for a number of years. You might also be wondering about the teacher. Yes, I'm wanting a highly qualified teacher. I want a teacher with early childhood as a degree and BA. That's my goal. Is that going to be realistic? I don't know until we go searching for that. But that is what Angela and Candace hold right now as an actual degree. In fact, Candace is going for her doctorate. And so, you want your best qualified people helping our at-risk students. So I'm asking for your approval that if funding comes available, that I jump on this quickly and get it started so that hopefully we can get 2 more preschool classrooms up and running in Plymouth by next school year.
When will you find out about your funding, Michelle?
Well, that's always been the trick of the state. It's whenever they want to hand that letter over to me saying this is the amount of money that you have. And I have not yet heard from either one of those sources. And once I do, I need to run my numbers to make sure that we can fund what we're doing now and that additional. And that is what the state is really pushing for, is that you get them earlier instead of waiting and remediating, say at Riverside, where we're pulling some dollars into Riverside. And you should not be. That's not the model. You should be getting them early and not remediating late.
Title I usually is we
good.
know it in June.
Mm-hmm. Title III migrants are the ones that we usually wait on.
I understand your explanation of Jefferson. Is this additional space that would be needed in Jefferson, or?
No, they have a couple classrooms. I've already went over to talk with Angie, and we've got a couple classrooms ready in close proximity to the 2 other preschool classrooms that we have now going over there, and so we'd be okay.
Any other questions? Yes.
Could I ask how many kids that might encompass, the 2 new ones, and what the criteria would be to approve for them to be in the program?
The criteria, screener has not yet been determined for that. I'm looking at a couple of things right now. The number would be commensurate to what's over there now with our special ed classrooms for preschool. It's 16 to 18 kids.
Per classroom?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And that would be half day. I'm looking at 2 half days. So really, I would service 32 kids in just one day in one classroom. Yeah, morning and afternoon. And I felt like that would be better because the preschool classrooms already have a special ed bus going there, that if by chance I would need transportation, I'd have to look at that, but, I've got a bus going there.
Any other questions? Well, you've heard the proposal. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and second to approve the preschool proposal. I'm assuming inherent in that, unfortunately, inherent in that motion is That is funding. Yes. So we have a motion and second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good luck. Good luck. No, seriously, I
I
think it's
know,
important.
I think it's very important, that's why I came to you.
Keep us informed, Michelle.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you. Item 3.8, consider reconfiguration of Washington. We're doing a lot of reconfiguring.
Well,
Just a word we'd like.
yes.
Yeah, we're gonna reconfigure. Reconfiguration of Washington Discovery Academy and Jefferson Elementary.
That's me again.
Okay?
I came to you to reconfigure Washington Discovery Academy because at the time when we were holding preschool, we go through STN and get STN numbers for kids. That's through the state. You can't do so when your building's not a pre-K building. Well, since Jefferson is now going to be housing pre-K, we need to reconfigure Jefferson to be a pre-K to 4 building and move Washington back to a K-4 building. And I need to have it board approved so that I can send it to the state that you recognize that we have, or that we need this reconfigured buildings for grade levels.
Anything to assist the state.
We appreciate that.
Because it comes back in spades, I'm telling you.
Yes.
So move.
Second.
Have motion and second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And our last item under section 3, consider St. Joe Regional Medical Center school nurse summer contract.
Well, this is not a reconfiguration, it's just a revisit. It says an amendment on it because it's amending the current contract to add the summer nurse. And they do that every year, just to make sure we will have a need for that. So we don't pay for it up front, we just pay for that in the section, and it's the same amount as last year.
I'd make a motion to approve the St. Joe Regional Medical Center school nurse summer contract. Second.
Have motion and second. Questions or discussion? Questions for Katie? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, section 4, superintendent remarks.
It's, as I usually do, I go through the core values and talk about some things that have happened in the corporation over the last couple of weeks. So 4.1, commitment to commitment to students. Many Plymouth Community School Corporation teachers are going to be involved in professional development over the summer, and this starts almost immediately after the last day of school. These sessions build professional skills that improve student achievement, and more importantly, they don't pull teachers out of class for that training. It's done during the summer. 4.2, caring. St. Joe Regional Medical Center physicians volunteered to complete athletic physicals for athletes for $20 a piece last night, and would like to thank the St. Joe Regional Medical Center physicians for taking time out of their busy schedules to do that, and then donating that $20 back to our department over here, our training department. So it's definitely a win-win on our part. We win on both. So thank you.
If you're wondering if anybody shows up, the lines were out the door, there was no place to park.
I had 2 there.
Yeah.
Did you have one?
Huh?
You must have had one there.
I tried.
You tried.
You didn't do it? It only took an hour and 20 minutes.
Was it an hour and 20? I was predicting
By
more.
7 o'clock, Gwen said it was empty. You could
No
walk
kidding.
in.
Patience is a
Little
virtue.
But yes, thank you to.
Yes, thank you.
And just, it's going to become public, I think, so I wanted to make sure I announced it here, is that once July 1st rolls around, being involved in open gym, weightlifting, those types of things, will now require a physical. So people will be getting that information. It's one of those things that came to us just a little bit late. It was after we did our physicals, but got about a month. There's moratorium that goes until the 6th of July, so this will go out, went out starting tonight, and just that we have people that, not here, but in other schools that have been involved in these things and that have never been in athletics at their school, and they come in with a heart defect, and they, suddenly they're having a heart attack, and so the IHSAA is highly suggesting it. I went to our attorney, he's suggesting it, so we will start that in July. 4.3, high expectations. Bruce Johnson is an outstanding technology leader, and he sitting back here with us as normal, and he and the instructional technology team were recently awarded the COSIN Team Award, the state award. This prestigious award qualifies Plymouth Community School Corporation for a candidate spot at the national recognition at the COSIN National Conference in Atlanta, Georgia, 2015. Bruce Johnson was also awarded a certificate for his mentorship throughout the state of Indiana, and I just think, Bruce, stand up. We've got 8 buildings and I don't know how many computers I don't know how he keeps his sanity, especially when we're doing iStep in there and they're all crashing. But
They don't crash.
the state crashes. Oh. But this is a well-earned award for Bruce and his instructional technology team, and we're very proud of the hard work that they put in every day, because it doesn't end all year long. Team player 4.4. Students from Plymouth, LaVille, and Argus just completed the 36th construction technology home. The students learn and work in a collaborative environment covering most aspects of the residential construction during the school year. The home is located at 10842 Cardinal Circle, Plymouth, Indiana, 46563. Drive by. They do an excellent job. A great team of students and an outstanding instructor. So, and to build a house, it definitely takes team players.
I have to say my aunt bought the last house and she absolutely loves it.
Great.
She doesn't have any issue.
Integrity. The Plymouth High School Band earned its 11th consecutive state All-Music Award, and that is something that we can all be proud of. An outstanding department, and they don't just they're not just concentrating on one or two areas. They're, in order to get this award, they have to be in nearly all of the areas. And 4.5, enjoyment. The last day of school is Thursday, June 5th for the students, and the last day for the teachers is Friday, June 6th. I think there'll be some people who will enjoy those days. Reminders, you're all invited to, board members, you're all invited to the classified breakfast. It's at Christo's Banquet Center, Friday, June 6th at 7:30 a.m. That starts. Chris serves a great breakfast, gives us a great deal, and we pass out awards to the classified members. We recognize the people who are retiring, and if they come in late, we still recognize them. The Construction Technology Open House is Sunday, June 8th, 2014, so stop by and take a look at that house. I think you'd be impressed. Graduation, Friday, June 13th at 2014 at 7:30. They asked that the board members meet at the, let's see, that would be the east doors at 7 o'clock.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. You had to bring that up, didn't you? PHS Distinguished Alumni Dinner is Friday, June 20th, 2014 at Christo's Banquet Center. Doors will open at 6 o'clock, dinners at 6:30, programs at 7 o'clock, and you can get your tickets at Plymouth High School, I believe, right, Kyle? You don't know, just shake your head.
Yes.
If not, I think you can, and if not, they'll tell you where to go. That didn't sound right, did it? All right. I've been in the last 4 or 5 years, and it's a short evening, but it's an outstanding evening. I don't know that they've announced have they announced it?
I know.
Well, you know. I know, but I'm not gonna say if they haven't announced it,
I
but
think it's public.
it's, let's just say somebody that's well deserving of the Alumni Hall of Fame, so, it'd be great, if you can make it. The next board meeting is, you're the tiebreaker. The next board meeting is the 1st, and
I can't even get to a board meeting on time.
do you want it on the 1st or the 8th?
It's moratorium week.
I'm sorry?
Moratorium week.
The 1st is moratorium week.
What does that mean?
No sports.
So,
The first is on
So you
Tuesday.
could go on vacation.
A lot of people go on vacation that week.
okay.
You
I thought
probably
this was considered a sport.
you probably have a trip planned. No?
So what do you mean on the tiebreaker? We have 2 on the 1st and 2 on the 8th?
Actually, no, we have one person who can't be here on the 1st and one who can't be here on the 8th, and said, whatever you do, that's where we'll go. And he'll say he doesn't care.
Well, I might care, let me think. The suspense is killing me. July 1st is fine with me.
Okay, and the meeting will be on July 1st, and,
Who did I upset?
oh, nobody.
Brittany's gonna be on it.
Brittany.
Brittany's working that night, because
You're on
Sandy's
that
gone.
night.
I
Yeah,
won't.
that's-
And I think Michelle's
And
gone.
and I'm gone.
And I'm
That's okay.
I'll be here.
Carry on. Carry on.
Yeah, carry on. We trust you.
Is that it then?
That's it.
Okay. Now I have a, just got mine of its own. I think we're on to, any comments from the crowd that has dwindled? Any audience have questions or comments? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. For adjournment. Thank you.